All right, let's just dive right into this. Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are looking at something totally fascinating from a guide called 12 Steps to a Good Life. We're going to unpack a really specific, almost counterintuitive psychological trick to help you achieve absolute peace of mind. Basically, if you've ever felt totally stuck in a cycle of bitterness, you are absolutely in the right place. Let's get to it. So here's the big paradox we're starting with today. Can you literally trick your own brain into forgiving someone? I know, it sounds a little devious, right? But what we're really talking about here is hacking our own minds to let go of deep-seated anger. We're going to take a well-known psychological phenomenon, one that usually causes us a ton of distress, and flip it completely upside down so it actually works in our favor. Section 1. The poison of resentment, which is really the core problem here. Okay, before we try to solve this, I want you to actually do something for me. Bring to mind someone you currently hold a grudge against. You know, someone who makes your blood pressure spike just by hearing their name. Got 'em? Okay, now think about this really powerful saying that's often used in 12-step recovery programs. It goes, resentment is the poison you drink hoping someone else will die. The source material hits this incredibly hard. When we hold on to grievances, we kind of feel like we're punishing that other person. But the reality, we're literally only destroying ourselves. And we really need to distinguish resentment from just regular anger. Anger is basically a reaction to an immediate present threat, right? It burns hot and then it fades. But resentment is long-haul anger. It doesn't just burn, it corrodes. It is this emotional sickness that fundamentally blocks your personal growth. It drains your energy, it literally sucks the joy right out of your life, and it keeps you hopelessly, stubbornly tied to the past. Moving on to Section 2, what is cognitive dissonance? Let's look at the psychological hack itself. So, by definition, cognitive dissonance is that really uncomfortable psychological tension you experience when your beliefs, your actions, or your values contradict each other. And here's the thing, the human brain inherently hates this mismatch. When what you do doesn't match what you fundamentally believe, you feel a literal profound discomfort. Your mind just scrambles to fix the inconsistency because it simply cannot tolerate that mental friction. Let's look at a few everyday examples of how this plays out. Say you believe smoking is harmful, but your action is, well, you still smoke. Tension. Or you really want to save the planet, but you drive a massive SUV and use tons of single-use plastic. Tension. Or maybe you highly value honesty, but you tell a white lie. Tension. Normally, we try to avoid this mental friction at all costs, or we make up these wild, elaborate excuses to justify our actions just so that psychological pain goes away. Section 3. The forgiveness hack. This is where we start flipping the script. All right, here is the core mechanism, the actual instruction straight from the source material. If you carry a resentment against someone, you must sincerely pray for them or wish them well. Look, I know, this sounds incredibly difficult and honestly entirely unnatural. Like, why on earth would you wish well for someone who hurt you? But the text emphasizes over and over that the absolute sincerity of the action is the key to this whole hack. You have to genuinely try your best to wish them well. What we're doing here is forcing the brain to bridge a massive psychological gap. Think about it. Your deeply held belief is, I deeply resent this person. But your deliberate, repeated action is, I am sincerely wishing them well. You are intentionally manufacturing a massive state of cognitive dissonance. You're taking the darkness of your internal anger and placing it right next to the light of a positive outward action. Section 4. Resolving the tension. Let's look at what happens inside your mind. So the absolutely crucial point here is that your brain cannot tolerate the severe discomfort of this manufactured dissonance. It has to fix it. There's no other way. And because you are stubbornly, consistently acting with positive intention, literally wishing them well day after day, your mind has absolutely no choice but to start changing your underlying beliefs so they match your actions. It will literally begin to shift your internal narrative away from anger just to resolve that tension. Let's walk through the exact practical procedures so you can start applying this today. Step 1, identify the resentment clearly. Don't hide from it, name it. Step 2, sincerely pray or wish that person well. And step 3, simply allow your thoughts to shift over time. Be patient with yourself. Think of this as kind of navigating your way through the discomfort. It's going to feel fake at first. It will probably feel painful. But if you just hold on to that positive action, the internal feelings will absolutely follow. Section 5. From anger to compassion. This is the final phase of the process. Over time, as your mind does the heavy lifting of resolving that cognitive dissonance, you're going to experience these profound internal shifts. Your thoughts will actually move away from anger. Actual, genuine compassion starts to take root. The author of the source material shares this incredibly powerful anecdote about this. He was forced to become a caregiver for his mother-in-law who had dementia. And understandably, he was angry and highly resentful about the burden, but he started desperately praying to learn compassion. And by consistently forcing that intention, the resentment broke. He stopped feeling sorry for himself, true understanding developed, and that heavy, heavy burden was finally released. I absolutely love this quote highlighted in the text. It says, "I don't like that man. I must get to know him better." Man, it just perfectly captures the essence of this hack. When you act with openness, with curiosity, and with goodwill towards someone you frankly despise, you are destroying that hostility from the inside out. You're giving your brain the exact evidence it needs to stop being angry. So the ultimate takeaway here, the thing you really need to remember, is why we do this in the first place. Forgiveness, in this context anyway, isn't about saying what the other person did was okay. It's really not about giving them permission or validating their terrible actions. It is a deliberate, totally selfish act, but in the best possible way. You do this to reclaim your own inner peace. You do this to free up the massive amount of energy that resentment just drains out of you every single day. Which brings us to our final thought for today's explainer. Who will you wish well today? I really challenge you to take that person you thought of at the very beginning of our time together and apply this powerful psychological tool right now. Go ahead and create that cognitive dissonance. Force your brain to heal. Thank you so much for hanging out and exploring this with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.